Welcome to the Faithful Fathering Podcast. This is Robert along with Jason, and we are still filling in for Rick Wertz as he's out in the mountains of Colorado on the Faithful Fathering High Country Adventure annual trip. This podcast episode, we are going to be talking about local church dad groups. Our first episode that we did in this series talked about the Faithful Fathering trips. The second episode talked about the studies, the different Faithful Fathering studies that are available. This episode is going to be mostly about the local church dad groups. Jason Hall is the operations manager for the ministry, and a big part of his role, his responsibilities with the ministry is developing relationships with churches. And I'll let him tell you a little bit more about what exactly that entails. Jason, tell us what does your day-to-day look like? What do you do in developing these relationships with churches, and what's the end goal?
Sure, Robert. Definitely, we've been blessed to work with several churches over the years. As we mentioned earlier, the 25 years, somewhere ballpark of 20 over 100 churches. Woo, that's a lot.
Yes, that is a lot. That's
quite
over 100 churches over the course of 25 years have been involved in one way, shape, or form with the ministry.
Yes, I think that's tremendous to mention. So me personally, I'm entering into about 2.5 years with the ministry.
Okay.
And I've worked with over a dozen churches, and currently that's about what we're working with now. And just going into the local church dad groups, what my goal is as operations manager is to manage those groups. And what that means is with the churches that we currently work with and hope to work with in the future, I keep a spreadsheet.
Okay.
And the spreadsheet entails all the dads that are in part of those groups, the leaders, the lead dad, and people like that. So I keep a spreadsheet of the different churches and the contacts that we currently have, and then the also contacts we currently want to reach out to. But what that entails is, like myself or Rick, going into churches, helping to lead the studies, the studies we talked about. So I speak and at breakfasts, lunches of men's groups, basically informing them and compelling men to start a movement of dads in their church.
Okay.
So one of my responsibilities is to do that. Rick does that as well. And then also after the churches agree to do something, they want to do an event, the trips we talked about, or maybe they want to just start off with a study, then we'll help equip that group to do their study. We'll equip them with the materials they need. We'll equip them with the information, but also we'll even equip their leader, whether that be one of the dads or the ministry leaders that wants to lead the study, and we'll help them to do that as well.
So let me ask you something that I think for me has been a misconception for a while, and I'm getting to understand now the way it really is. But these core group of dads are not always led by church ministry personnel, right? They could be led by regular dads wanting to get involved, wanting to start a fathering movement in their church, right?
Yes, you are correct. I'm so glad you mentioned that. We actually encourage and prefer it to be a local dad that's a lay leader, not a staff or a pastor, because we don't want the weight on them. So, and plus, and when you have that local dad that's helping to spearhead the movement in their church, they can be on fire for the group, and then they don't have the responsibility necessarily of a church leader or pastor, all this stuff on their plate, but they can really hone in on it, if that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense, because church staff is busy.
Yes.
Church staff, they're staff, but a lot of times they're overwhelmed. They've got, like you said, a ton on their plate. And for this to not necessarily have to be something that they need to manage and be over, I think is a blessing, because you can get a dad that's on fire for it, that is really interested in doing this, or, a couple of dads, 3 dads that want to be that core group of dads.
That's right.
And they end up doing the studies, doing the activities. So that's That's the more and more I think about it, the way Rick has structured it is very hands off. Like
Yes.
all the work has been done.
Yes.
I say all the work, but
I see what you mean.
as dads attending these studies and being part of these groups, we still have to do some things. But a better way to say it is the heavy lifting.
Yes, absolutely.
We're not having to write out a study to lead. We're not having to put together videos to lead the study. I mean, this is literally, here's the video, here's the curriculum, here are the questions to ask.
The dads appreciate that in those groups. As you mentioned that, I have to say, Robert, this ministry has been, for lack of a better words, packaged.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's a great way to put it.
And the guys can show up, including myself. The guys can show up and just really be ministered to, if that makes sense.
Yes. And let me add to that. It's not only packaged, but it's free.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
and I say that in a way like I know that there are costs associated.
Well, yeah, right.
And the ministry has been blessed with people that believe in the ministry.
That's right.
And support the ministry. And as you guys know, in any ministry, there's always room for more. So don't
absolutely.
If you are called to pour into the ministry and to support in any way, there's you go to faithfulfathering.org, and at the very top there's a donate tab. But for those that want to partake in leading studies and starting core groups of dads, it's packaged.
Yes, sir.
And it's free.
And it's free.
And you just have to be willing to be a dad that wants to take on that. I don't even want to say responsibility, but just that
The calling.
The calling is a good word to lead a group of dads in leading their children and being faithful fathers. I never thought about it that way. It's packaged. It's free. I'm in the lighting business, and I sell commercial lighting, and we call it turnkey. It's a turnkey package. It's ready to go. We do everything for you.
There we go.
This is turnkey. It's ready to go. All you have to do is press play on a video and be willing to walk guys through some questions. You said we're currently, the ministry is currently at about 12 churches.
That's right.
Right. Yeah. But before COVID, the ministry was in the 30s, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, absolutely.
30 different churches running different studies, doing different events across the city. So you guys are working, and that's part of your role, right?
Yes,
is to reach out to churches, to again, I'm a sales guy, and and I equate this in a way to sales because you have to show the value.
Yes.
This is so valuable. And you have to show people the value, show men the value of this. And I say men, but Rick oftentimes talks about the secret weapon, which is mom.
Yes.
Because a lot of times mom may see the value before a dad.
Oh,
right? So we don't want to say that we're just talking to dads. We're talking to moms. Moms, if you're listening or watching, don't disregard the level of impact that you can have on impacting this, really impacting the next generation by either sharing this with somebody or telling somebody about this, maybe even your husband or maybe a brother, or just spreading the word about this ministry that exists to engage and equip dads to be faithful fathers. So I see your job in a way, and it's not really a sales job,
right.
But in a way, you have to present the value of what it is that the ministry offers. And along with that, it really does remind me, because you have to follow up. Right. Just like I have to follow up at my day job with people, because a lot of times these things are not top of mind, unfortunately.
Right.
Absolutely. And we have to just remind, hey, we're still here. If there's anything that we can do for you, please let us know. On the flip side of that, if there's somebody watching that maybe you have not been able to contact, but there's an interest from them to find out more about the ministry, to find out more about how they can present this either to a group of dads or to their church, how would they do that? How would they get in touch with you?
Sure. Everyone, again, Jason at faithfulfathering.org is my email.
Okay.
I'd love to hear from you. Once you get in touch with me, then we can schedule something, either a breakfast or lunch, or I can come out to your church if you want me to, speak to your guys, speak to your staff, or speak to you individually via phone call. We can even do a phone call and just share more about what does that look like? What does that movement of fatherhood and dads look like in your church?
Okay, great. That's great. So I like to be hypothetical, right?
Okay.
This is Robert reaching out to Jason.
Yes.
Jason, man, I'm really interested. I heard you on the podcast.
Yeah.
How can I start something? What do I need to do?
Sure. So what we can do is we can talk about, first of all, what are you currently doing in your church? Is the first question I'm asked. Are you doing anything for fathers? Sometimes there might be like a father-daughter dance, or there's a father-son activity or something like that. And my goal is to complement and come alongside Robert what's already happening in your church.
Okay.
And so first thing, now you're like, oh, I'm not doing anything. Like, okay, no problem. We have what's called interest cards.
Okay.
And so the interest cards is something that I hand you and get in front of your guys, and they check off interest. What are your fathers interested in? Because
so you tailor, almost custom tailor something to each group of dads.
Yes, because we don't want to offer something that they're not interested in.
Right.
So what is your father's? After we get those cards, then we can do an analysis and say, oh, they want to have a father-son trip, or, oh, they want to have a daddy-daughter dance, or, oh, they want to have this. Whatever your fathers are interested in, we can go to the fathers and create a program or a trip or an event out of that. Sometimes, you might not be ready for a study, but maybe you're ready for a night out.
Okay.
So whatever your church is ready for, then we can help implement that.
I love that. I love that. So we'll definitely be in prayer for people to reach out and again spread the message about the ministry. If you're watching and you see value, feel free to share.
Okay.
And another thing that we want to emphasize, and we emphasized it on the other episodes, the ministry is not here to beat up men. There's enough of that. The ministry ultimately is here to encourage, to equip dads to be faithful fathers. Remember that. If there's any questions, feel free to chime in the comments or reach out to Jason via email. God bless.